Few people know this, and honestly, it's shocking." Those were the words of a 76-year-old woman who shared with me a piece of advice that completely changed my perspective on intimate relationships. After decades of experience, and yes, a lot of accumulated wisdom, she revealed secrets most of us have never even heard of. And here's the most surprising part. What she told me might be exactly what you're missing to have a more intense, pleasurable, and deeply connected intimate life. Now, I know this sounds bold, but listen to this. She said that most men make at least one huge mistake in the bedroom, and they don't even realize it. Small details, simple actions that can make all the difference between an average experience and an unforgettable connection. In this video, I'm going to reveal everything she told me, valuable advice you've probably never heard anywhere else. And the best part? These are practical tips that you can start applying right now. But it doesn't stop there. Stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you a little-known method to overcome premature ejaculation, something that affects millions of men and damages both self-confidence and a couple's pleasure. Trust me, you don't want to miss this chance to completely transform your intimate life. Shall we get straight to it? When that 76-year-old woman started sharing her secrets with me, she didn't hesitate to be blunt. Do you know why so many couples lose their intimate connection over the years? Because men stop paying attention to the details that really matter. And she was absolutely right. Most men believe the key to pleasing a woman lies in complicated techniques or advanced bedroom moves. But the truth? It's much simpler and more surprising than that. She explained that the biggest mistake many men make is focusing only on the act itself and forgetting something crucial: building emotional and sensory anticipation. Think about it. How many times have you gone straight to the point without creating that deeper connection first? Without really noticing what your partner enjoys or doesn't? And here's the worst part. Many women won't openly say what they feel or want, so this mistake often goes unnoticed until that connection quietly fades away. She revealed a powerful secret she used throughout her marriage. Real pleasure starts long before the bedroom. This means simple gestures, like holding eye contact for just a little longer, a light touch on her back when she's distracted, or even an unexpected compliment, can create a powerful sense of desire. For many women, this kind of subtle attention mentally prepares them for intimacy, and when that anticipation is built properly, the physical experience becomes so much more intense. She shared a real-life example. My husband was never the most skilled man in the world, but he knew exactly how to make me feel desired before anything even started, and that changed everything. Here's an interesting fact she mentioned. 40% of women believe that the perfect foreplay doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts during the day, with small gestures, thoughtful words, and subtle touches that build anticipation. And there's more. She explained that many men completely overlook certain pleasure zones. While most focus on the obvious spots, it's often the less explored areas that create the strongest reactions. A soft kiss on the inner thigh, for instance, can be more powerful than direct stimulation, or even something as simple as gently caressing the back of her neck during a hug. These small touches can spark goosebumps and trigger a deeper emotional and physical connection. The biggest mistake isn't the lack of complex techniques. It's ignoring these simple yet powerful details that turn an average experience into something unforgettable, something that goes beyond the physical and reaches the emotional core. After the elderly woman told me about the importance of building anticipation before intimacy, she hit me with another shocking truth. Most men are blind to the signs a woman gives when she's turned on. And no, I'm not talking about the obvious signs. I mean the subtle, almost imperceptible cues that reveal exactly what she wants. And here's the thing, once you learn to spot them, everything changes. She explained that women rarely spell out exactly what they're feeling. Instead, their bodies do the talking. The problem? Most men simply aren't paying attention. Want an example? Her breathing. If you're kissing or touching her and notice her breath becoming shorter or more uneven, that's her body's way of saying, keep going. Or the way she subtly shifts her body to guide your hand or direct your movements to where she wants to be touched. That's a clear invitation, but so many men miss it and keep doing what they think works best. The woman said something that stuck with me. When a woman feels that you understand her body without her needing to ask, she completely lets. She also revealed something few people talk about. Some erogenous zones only become sensitive once her arousal reaches a certain level. In other words, if you go straight to them too soon, it won't have the same effect. But if you wait for the right moment, the result can be explosive. Another thing that really caught my attention was what she said about eye contact. Yes, the eyes. If, during a touch or a kiss, she closes her eyes for a few seconds and lets out a deep sigh, that's the ultimate sign of surrender. And here's a fascinating fact that confirms it. Around 80% of the women say they climax more easily when they feel their partner is fully tuned into what they enjoy, even if they never say it out loud. This really made me think, how many times have you missed these signs because you were too focused on doing it right instead of just feeling the moment? She wrapped up with one final thought that hit hard. You know what really separates a good lover from an unforgettable one? The ability to listen to her body without her saying a single word. That piece of advice stuck with me, and when I started applying it, I noticed an insane difference. And the best part, it's not about complicated techniques, it's about presence. Being there, in the moment, paying attention, and noticing every little detail. After learning how to read the subtle signals her body gives, the 76-year-old woman shared something that really messed with my head. A lot of men treat statistics like a manual, but they forget that every woman is unique. She was talking about all those facts we hear all the time, like how 80% of women prefer the missionary position because it offers more intimacy and eye contact. And yes, that's true for many, but is that really enough? She explained that the comfort and emotional connection that position provides make it a favourite, but she also warned me about something important. Sticking only to the basics can make intimacy predictable and dull. Then she gave me a simple but powerful piece of advice. The secret is mixing safety with novelty. For example, standing positions, which many men avoid because they seem awkward or uncomfortable, can actually help prolong the experience and even speed up the female orgasm, especially when combined with the right touch. Why? Because changing the angle creates new types of stimulation, breaking the pattern and making the moment more exciting. She also pointed out something most people underestimate: natural lubricants like saliva. They can intensify sensations, but the secret lies in how you use them. Use it carefully, applying it in the right spots and never too much. Otherwise, the touch loses the friction that makes it feel good. Then, she talked about something that's often misunderstood: clitoral stimulation. A lot of people think the more the better, but that's a big mistake. The clitoris is incredibly sensitive. If you overstimulate or don't know when to stop, it can turn from pleasure to discomfort in seconds. She explained that just like men need a recovery period after orgasm, the clitoris also needs time to recover. And this is where many men go wrong. They keep stimulating after the climax, thinking they're increasing her pleasure, when in reality, they might be causing discomfort. And to wrap it up, she hit me with a surprising fact. Did you know that around 18% of the women can reach orgasm without any direct contact? For these women, pleasure is deeply tied to mental stimulation, meaning emotional excitement and indirect touches can be more powerful than direct contact. The key takeaway? Don't rely on statistics. They're a starting point, but the real secret lies in paying attention to her unique preferences. She left me with one final thought. The most unforgettable experiences are the ones where she feels like you're exploring the moment together, not just following a scripted routine. That piece of advice, coming from someone with decades of experience, made me realize how often we overlook the small variations that make all the difference. So far, we've talked about techniques, signals, and preferences, but this is where the 76-year-old woman revealed something even deeper. Something most men never even consider. You can be technically perfect, but if you don't touch her mind, her body will never respond the way you expect. That one sentence made me rethink everything. She was talking about the power of emotional touch, that invisible connection that turns an ordinary intimate moment into something truly unforgettable. She explained that female pleasure isn't just physical. For many women, the climax starts in the mind long before any physical touch happens. That's why some women can even orgasm from words or indirect stimulation without any direct contact at all. If you can make her feel desired, safe, and completely immersed in the moment, her body will react in ways even she didn't expect. But how do you create that kind of connection? She shared a simple but powerful trick: the game of anticipation. While kissing, pause for a few seconds, look into her eyes, and then dive back in with more intensity. When you're touching her body, vary the pressure and rhythm. Create moments of tension and release. Whisper something unexpected in her ear, something that paints vivid images in her mind and heightens the desire. This kind of stimulation isn't just physical. It activates her imagination, which makes her body respond even more intensely. She also pointed out something few people notice. For many women, arousal isn't just about the obvious spots. Sometimes a gentle touch on her arm or a kiss behind her ear can trigger incredible reactions. These subtle touches, combined with emotional play, create what she called a wave of accumulated pleasure. A state where every kiss, every touch, every word builds desire, making the climax almost inevitable. And here's an interesting fact she shared. Do you know why so many women enjoy blindfolds or closing their eyes during sex? Because blocking one sense heightens all the others. The touch feels stronger, sounds become clearer, and her imagination fills in the rest. That's the power of emotional touch. It's not about where or how you touch. It's about how she feels while you're doing it. When a woman feels fully desired, both in body and mind, she'll surrender completely, and that's when truly unforgettable experiences happen. This chapter changes the game because it shifts the focus from doing it right to feeling it together. And once you understand that, everything changes. After diving deep into the importance of emotional touch, the elderly woman warned me about something most men completely overlook. Sometimes, the problem isn't what you're doing, but what you're doing wrong without even realizing it. She was talking about those small mistakes that, even with the best intentions, can instantly switch off a woman's pleasure. And the worst part? Most men don't even realize they're making these mistakes. One of the biggest culprits? Rushing. How many times have you sped things up because you thought you were doing great? Or ignored her subtle signals asking you to slow down? Many women need time to fully let go. Rushing doesn't just ruin that process. It creates a psychological block that prevents her body from responding the way it should. Another common mistake? Lack of variety. Repeating the same movement or touch for too long leads to what she called sensory numbness. If you keep using the same touch, at the same pressure, in the same spot, her body gets used to it and the pleasure starts to fade. Mix it up, change rhythms, intensities and areas. Keep the element of surprise alive. Then she brought up something a little controversial, focusing too much on the climax. Many men approach intimacy with a single goal in mind, making her orgasm. And while that seems like a great idea, it often has the opposite effect. When pleasure becomes a goal, spontaneity disappears. Her body senses that pressure. Instead of surrendering to the moment, she starts worrying about meeting expectations. And here's another crucial point: what happens after the climax? A lot of men think the job is done once both partners finish. But she was crystal clear about this. The aftercare is just as important as the act itself. A gentle touch, a tight hug, or simply lying together for a few minutes creates an emotional connection that goes way beyond the physical. And finally, she shared something that stuck with me forever. The biggest mistake is assuming she'll tell you when something's wrong. Most of the time she won't. She'll just shut down and pretend everything's fine. That's when you need to be really observant. The signs are there: shorter breaths, less engagement in her touch, or even a distant look in her eyes. If you notice that, slow down, change your approach, or simply ask her gently if everything's okay. The lesson here? Pleasure isn't about following a perfect script. It's about avoiding the mistakes that break the connection. And when you eliminate these invisible obstacles, the path to truly intense and unforgettable moments opens up naturally. After we talked about the mistakes that can ruin the moment, the elderly woman brought up one of the most delicate and common concerns among men. What if the pleasure ends too quickly? How do you last longer without losing the connection with her? This is a real worry for many men, and the good news is that there are solutions. Simple but powerful. She taught me techniques that not only help prolong the moment, but also intensify the experience for both partners. Her first piece of advice was straightforward. The secret is controlling your mind before your body. What does that mean? Many men focus so hard on avoiding premature ejaculation that they end up causing the exact opposite. It's like trying not to think about something, and guess what? You think about it even more. The trick is to stay present in the moment, focusing on the details that turn her on, not just your own sensations. Of course, there are also physical techniques that can help. She mentioned the classic stop and squeeze method. Here's how it works. When you feel like you're getting close to the point of no return, pause the movement for a few seconds. During that pause, apply gentle pressure at the base of the shaft. This reduces arousal and gives you more control. But then she took it a step further and revealed a lesser known but highly effective method, the rhythm change technique. Instead of maintaining a constant pace during sex, alternate between faster and slower movements. This variation not only helps you control your arousal, but also intensifies her pleasure, creating waves of tension followed by moments of relief, something the female body responds to incredibly well. And here's an insight that completely changed my perspective. Most men focus so much on penetration that they forget they can switch between different types of stimulation. She suggested that instead of going for continuous penetration, you can mix it up with external stimulation, like kissing her body, caressing different erogenous zones, even whispering something in her ear. This not only helps reduce your arousal, but also keeps her pleasure levels high. But the most important point she emphasized was this: lasting longer isn't just about duration, it's about keeping the emotional connection strong the entire time. That means maintaining eye contact during key moments, using words that build intimacy, and, most importantly, being aware of when she's reaching her peak so you can adjust your rhythm, allowing both of you to get there together, or at least very close. She also shared a fascinating statistic. Around 85% of women say they feel more satisfied when they sense their partner is paying attention to their reactions during sex rather than focusing solely on his own performance. In the end, her message was crystal clear. It's not about lasting forever. It's about making every second meaningful. Once you understand that, time becomes just a detail. After all these valuable lessons, the elderly woman wrapped it up with one of the most powerful truths about intimate relationships. At the end of the day, what truly strengthens the connection isn't just techniques or how long you last. It's the mutual understanding of each other's desires and needs. She explained that the real secret to keeping the spark alive, even after years together, is never stopping the exploration, always finding new ways to experience pleasure. And this doesn't just mean trying new positions or techniques. It's about creating moments of vulnerability where both partners feel safe expressing their deepest desires without fear of judgment. True intimacy goes beyond the physical. It's about trust, surrender, and, most importantly, active listening. Then, she gave me one last piece of practical advice. Talk to your partner outside the bedroom about what you both enjoy, what you'd like to try, and even what didn't work. These conversations open doors to a deeper emotional connection. When both people feel comfortable sharing what excites them and what could be improved, the relationship grows on every level. Now let me ask you, what was the biggest insight you took from this video? If any tip or piece of advice helped you see things from a new perspective, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. And who knows, your story might help someone going through the same situation. And of course, if this content resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Your support makes all the difference and helps me keep bringing valuable content to you. In the end, it all comes down to this: creating deeper connections, more intense experiences, and moments that leave unforgettable memories. See you in the next video.